Welcome to Vitality Vibe and to how to make a sweet potato hash brown. So I love hash browns. Who doesn't like a hash brown? You go into a cafe and they're like greasy and they're lovely, but they're not very nutritious. These guys, however, sweet potatoes are high in fiber and beta carotene, which makes your eyesight really good, and vitamin A. So they're just a lovely wee alternative. And you know what I use these for breakfast in the mornings instead of having like white bread toasted, because of the nutritional content of these obviously is way better than white bread. So they're lovely to have them as your base. Throw some spinach on top, a poached egg, and Bob's your uncle, there's breakfast. So this is a wee recipe from Donal Skehan's cookbook. And what he recommends is one large sweet potato or kind of two small. These were what I had left in my press today, so I just done them all. So I'm going to bump up the recipe a little bit because I have a little bit more. But the recipe is one large sweet potato, one large egg, some salt and pepper. That's it. Easy breezy, lemon squeezy. Okay, so with your sweet potato, you want to grate it. So I'm using the little small side of the grater, just because I like them a little bit finer and not, but you could easily use the bigger side if you want them bigger. And you can also grate them like just with a handheld grater, but this is just so much quicker. So that's why I like this. Oops. Okay, give me a second with noise. Now, these in. So I always thought I didn't need fancy gadgets, right? But the day I bought this was one of the best days ever. I got this on Dundee for 25 euros and I have used it nearly every day since. It's a great wee thing. All right, so once you've grated up your sweet potato, you just put it into a bowl. Here's one I've prepared earlier, as they say. So chuck it all in. All right, it's only me eating this, so I can just use my hands. But of course, you'd use a spatula or something a little bit more. I'm not a professional chef. I'm a just get it done kind of person. So you throw that in there. And so with my eggs, mine are quite small, so I'm gonna put in 3 for the amount of sweet potato. But remember, the original recipe is 1 large sweet potato and 1 egg. And then a little pinch of salt, a little pinch of pepper. So I'm just cracking them individually just to make sure that none of them are bad, none of them are off. And make sure you don't get shell in there either. Like I said, I'm not a professional chef. And I'm sure there's some watching that are cringing at my antics. But yeah, hey ho, that's how I roll. Okay, so there's my eggs in. I'm gonna wipe off my hands. And then personal preference with your salt and pepper, but just a wee pinch, like, throw it in there. Another little bit, just because I had more sweet potato than normal. And then a wee bit of pepper, I like my pepper. Okay, so after that, what do I wanna do? I wanna give them a big stir about. I'll just use this. Do I? No, actually, hang on, I've got a fork, which is gonna work better. All right, so you just stir it about, and then you'll kind of know from the consistency. So if it's too wet, you'll know to throw in a bit more sweet potato. If it's too dry, you'll know to crack in another egg. Like, there's no real science here. That's what I love about this recipe. It's so simple. It's like, grate your sweet potato, throw in an egg, throw in some salt and pepper, and you're done. So then all we do here is then fry these on the pan and then put them into the oven just to finish them off. Now the recipe says put them in the oven for 20 minutes. I found though that they don't even need that long. Maybe I'm giving myself food poisoning every time I eat them, I don't know. But I normally, sometimes I don't even bother bugging them in the oven. I just do on the pan and then they're good enough for me and I get them in there. But the recipe does say put them in the oven for 20 minutes. Okay, over to the cooker we go. Okay, so I always use coconut oil because it has such a high smoke point. Okay, so rather than, or you could use butter here either, whatever works. And then just throw in maybe 3 teaspoons. Okay, so again, I'm not the professional chef type. And I'm just going to scoop in with my fingers, which is probably really bold. And normally what I do when I scoop it in with my fingers, right, whatever's left on my finger, I rub it on my arm because it's like a moisturizer. Oh, anyway, this is just how I do it. So I'll grab this so I don't burn the hands myself. So just let your coconut oil kind of swish around your pan. All right, so get a nice because you want the sweet potatoes to be like crispy on the outside. So throw that on there. And then I've got like an ice cream scoop, but if you live in Ireland, you use these for potatoes. So they're always called a potato scoop in Ireland. And then just scoop some of it up. All right, and then you're going to throw it on the pan. So my pan, you can hear it's nice and hot. And then, I mean, if you wanted to be really particular, you could try and have these like perfect circles. But I just throw it on and hope for the best. So throw it on and then squidge it down a bit because if you don't squidge it down and kind of get it stuck together, then when you try to flip it, it goes all over the place. Now, my pan's too hot. I'm going to go down a wee bit. Okay, we'll get another bit in there. All right, and then we'll get another bit, and then I'll squash them all down now in a minute. There's a wee bit too much in that one. All right, so I've got my little spatula thing here, so you can just you can kind of scoop them in around the edges, flatten them out, make them look pretty. And do the same with this one. Again, I'm sure there's a better method. But this is just how I roll. Okay, and then the third one, I'll just squish him out a bit as well. Press them down. And then I'll give this a little bit more heat. Okay. So what we do is we're just crisping them on each side, and then once they're crisped on each side, then you bung them in the oven just to finish them off, just to make sure they're cooked in the middle. Oh, and you have the oven set to 180 degrees Celsius. So preheat your oven to 180. Okay. Give these a moment and then we'll flip them. Okay, moment of truth. I'm pretty useless at flipping these, but let's give it a go. So get your wee scoop under. Ah, look at that! That looks so good. I always get excited when I don't feck it up and it doesn't fall apart. There we go. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Let's go for 3 out of 3. Way! Woohoo! And this is the first take as well. I'm not even retaking this video. So you can see how yummy they look. Like, honestly, these are so tasty. So what I normally do with these is like a little bit of spinach wilted and then your poached egg on top, and they're yum. So what we're going to do is throw these into the oven. Like I said, the recipe says 20 minutes in the oven. I always find that even 10 minutes kind of does them. If they've got a good few minutes on the pan, then they don't take that long in the oven. And that's it. That's as easy as these are. So give it a go. Like I said, really nutritious and just something different and easy for your breakfast. Okie dokie, 20 minutes later, and this is what we have. Zoom in on this. It's like so yum. And I forgot to mention earlier that there's like a great protein content in these. So even you don't have to put a poached egg on top of these. You could put, I normally do some avocado and feta cheese, or I mix it up. But they're so yum, they're so good for you, they're so easy, so please try them out. Okie dokie, bye.